Hi. So just imagine, I'm sure you've been there, especially if you're a busy horse pro. It's late, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You've worked since 5 in the morning. And that was exactly my day, my everyday. Get up at 5, go to bed at 10 at night, and feel exhausted. I felt like I had gotten a lot done, but what I got done and how it had moved my business forward, I actually really wasn't sure about. I had fallen into the trap of confusing productivity or busyness with productivity. So I'm sure you have too. We all do. Especially us who work with horses, where the time stands still and the barn is a time vortex that just sucks you in. And the one thing I never really realized in all of this time that I drove myself into the ground was that I was training my horses every day with every action I took. And what I was actually training them to do was to adapt or adopt a lot of great habits, right? What is training other than creating habitual movements that they can perform on an automatic level, right? That's training. I got good at that. I bet you rock at it. But when it comes to your own time management, your own awareness of where all this time goes that you're using up every day, the energy, the effort, the fatigue that you feel at every day, I'd be surprised if in fact you were looking at this as you training yourself either good or bad habits. So, hi, first of all, I'm Christiane Witt, owner and founder of Horsebiz Success, where we do help you with tech, strategy, and what I'm going to be talking about today, productivity. It sounds like a word that's being used in corporate, but not at the barn, right? But you are busier than the President of the United States, I bet. And you work a lot more physically, right? So it makes you much more tired. And yet, we don't really tend to think about what it means to be truly productive. Look, my biggest desire was find time for my own horses. Be with them in a way that I could be present, kind, gentle, and compassionate. But instead, I got burned out, stressed, hectic, and I stole some minutes away here and there from my own horses. Let's talk a little bit about the things you know already about horse training that you could actually apply to train yourself. And there will be a series of training videos just like that, where I'll go into step by step into each of these methods so that you can chain them together just like you would do with training, to either break a bad habit, to create a better one, and to ultimately live a life that is filled with positive, productive, life and energy giving habits, so that you do, 1, make money, and 2, have the time to spend with your horses. All right, so let's just start with 6 principles. But from a behavioral standpoint, which is now proven to be really the essential piece to understand when we break or make habits, there are 6 areas. And you already know them from training. Think about things like, I'm setting my horse up for success. What does that mean? We choose the right environment to help our horse focus on us and be able to actually follow our instructions. An antecedent in behavior theory, right? Then often do we hear, keep it simple and repeat it often? Can you see how that could translate to you? And again, we'll get more into this. I'm just going to give you, I hope, some hope and inspiration that you too, step by step, one step at a time, can learn how to buy yourself more time, save more energy so that you have time to build your business and still have time to have a life. All right, so we said antecedents, set up the right environment, keep it simple and repeat often. Create the right motivation, right? A horse that is not motivated is just resisting. We see this especially when it comes to technology and marketing. There's so much internal resistance that unless we teach you how to find the right motivation inside of you, nothing is going to work. Train one thing at a time. How many times have you told your clients, one thing at a time, don't try to teach them two different things at the same time, it confuses them. But how often don't we not do this to ourselves? And again, in the following videos, I'll get into New Year's resolutions and why science tells us that they don't work and all of that, right? Stay under threshold. What does that mean? You know what that means for horses. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you how you can stay too much under threshold and go too much over threshold. And it is an essential piece when it comes to developing habits. Reward the smallest try. How many times do we beat ourselves up for not doing something perfectly? What do? We give up. We go back in the same rut, in the same habits because they, like a well-trampled path, just feel easier. So it takes something to lift ourselves out of this path into a new environment, into a new routine. Like I gentled hundreds of wild horses. From wild and instinctive to aware and voluntary takes a heck of a lot of habit building. Never even thought about it myself until it occurred to me that, in effect, I and my daily habits were determining my life success. So, if that seems interesting to you and you want to know more about these principles, why don't you below just give me a comment on which one of those 6 appeals most to you. What would you like to try? Or even write about a habit that you would like to break or one that you would like to create. I can tell you from having worked with so many horse professional clients that once you set up really good daily habits, despite our endless hours working on behalf of our horses, you can find time for wellness. You can find time for yourself. You can live out your deepest values. And that only happens with really good habits. So, I hope that has been helpful for you. Just make a comment below, even send me a horse emoji or whatever you'd like for me to see that it resonated with you and that I can tag you maybe when the next videos come out where I will show you exactly how to implement each step, and you don't even have to think about it because you, of all people, know more about these 6 steps than the vast majority of